The following news segment is produced for MTN by the Western Ag Network. Now, here's your Farm and Ranch report from the Montana Ag Network.
Hi everybody, it's time for your Farm and Ranch news. Well, the political battle in the Pacific Northwest over breaching the Snake River dams in Washington state has, at least for now, swung back in the favor of farmers, grain shippers, irrigators, and even power producers who rely on the river system and oppose their removal.
These dams carry 65% of the wheat that goes out of the PNW corridor. So they're important from the standpoint of that they're the most carbon neutral form of transportation for U.S. wheat.
On the irrigation side, that's another area where we would see a huge loss for our region and nation. If dam breaching were to occur, we would lose the irrigation behind the Ice Harbor Dam in particular, and that irrigates about 50,000 acres here in the Northwest. So that supports about $2 billion in economic value in the region, 10,000 jobs.
Breaching the Snake River dams would require an act of Congress, with Democrats holding the majority in 2020 and the Biden administration signaling support for restoring historic salmon runs. It appeared dam removal was on the government's fast track. However, with Republicans winning back the majority in the House, Washington's GOP representatives Kathy McMorris Rodgers and Dan Newhouse introduced a bill this spring to help keep the dams in place. In the Senate, Republican Steve Daines of Montana and Idaho's Jim Risch sent forth similar legislation. Daines, Risch, and GOP Senator Mike Crapo of Idaho also recently sent a letter to Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm urging the administration to advocate for and preserve the Snake River dams. According to Columbia Grain President and CEO Jeff Van Pevenage, losing hydro generation is only one of the energy impacts that would be brought about if the dams were breached.
We need the alternative forms of transportation like barge traffic, and truck traffic is not really an option from so far away. It would be the most expensive, the most polluting form of transportation to the marketplace, as well as the most inefficient form of transportation.
Now, those energy costs would have a ripple effect, says Heather Stebbings of the Pacific Northwest Waterways Association.
You eliminate the dams, you increase costs for energy because you eliminate hydropower, and that would ultimately either be absorbed by the farmer or passed along to the consumer, again, increasing the cost of our food that we buy at the grocery stores.
Now, the Pacific Northwest Waterways Association says that they continue to believe that salmon and the dams can coexist and are supportive of salmon recovery efforts short of breaching the dams. And at least as of right now, the act of Congress needed to remove dams doesn't seem very likely. Stay with us. We'll have more ag news right after this.